Hi everyone, and welcome to the Virgo Weekly Tarot Bite reading for the week of July 10th through the 16th. Hi and welcome. My name is Lauren, and this is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for soul illumination. So hi everyone. This is meant to be a pretty quick read for the week ahead for the sign of Virgo, about 10 minutes or so here. But it is going to be based off of the two themes that came up in the general collective reading, which was posted for the week on Sunday, if you'd like to view that. Now, the two themes that came up, we had TikTok and 10 of Pentacles. Now, really what came out in that reading was connecting with a future vision for ourselves through the 10 of Pentacles, which is kind of our ultimate legacy, what we want to experience in the physical on earth, kind of getting into that dream that we want. And then TikTok, which is our relationship to time, and where maybe we are kind of getting frustrated, or we are talking ourselves out of believing or working towards that dream or that legacy for ourselves because we feel like it will either take too long or it's not coming in fast enough. And where can we get out of that hyperfixation on time and really just work towards the goal instead and enjoy the journey? So let's see what wants to come in for you, specifically Virgo, around both of these. So we're going to dive a little deeper. I'm going to pull some clarifiers to see how this is affecting you specifically this week, Virgo. So what does Virgo need to know about TikTok and their relationship to time? Okay, so we have two cards that came out. We have Five of Swords and Judgment. For some of you, there is an avoidance of a major change in your life that is coming through or taking place. So judgment is when we have been called up literally from the dead. A past version of ourselves has passed away, and we are now being called up to assume a new heightened version of ourselves. It's true transcendence when we think about it. You can see it in this picture here. These people are literally being called up by the divine. But with the Five of Swords energy, this can be one of a little combative. It can be one where we don't want to hear other people's opinions. It can be one where we want to kind of win at all cost. But it specifically can come up when we are trying to, where we don't want to see or release possibly the old version of ourselves, where, it could be where, the battle is not yours to fight anymore, because you are a new person, and yet you're still trying to sit here. And this can also be where, because judgment can speak to a major life and perspective change, meaning that now from a new position in your life, so this could be like you become a new parent, and all of a sudden now your world is opened up to what it's like to raise a child and be responsible for somebody else. And now when you go out into the world, you realize, wow, all the things I used to, my perspective on people with children, let's say, and how they discipline them or how they choose to educate them is now changed, because now I'm on the other side of it and I see, wow, I was wrong about this, or I don't actually believe that, So there can be a little bit of that. And there's a little bit here of maybe for some of you where you're still kind of stuck in the old version of yourself, maybe speaking from that. It would be like if, let's say, you always held a specific opinion and everybody knows that you don't like X, Y, and Z, but yet something has changed in your life and suddenly maybe you actually are starting to like X, Y, and Z a little bit. But instead of sharing that, you're still coming from that place of, but no, this is how people know me, so I gotta keep holding up my side of it. This could be where you actually have a major change in your religious or political views. I mean, that can speak to judgment right here for sure. But it can also speak to where maybe it's time now to really embrace the new version of yourself. And maybe you're trying to figure out how to do that. And people might be trying to come into your experience to give you clues or their perspective as to how maybe to embrace or grow a certain aspect of this new part of yourself. And you're like, I don't want to hear it. It's not going to work. It's not, no. So really take a look this week at where maybe you are blocking yourself a little bit from leaning into a new future vision for yourself that is now based off of, not the Five of Swords, but Judgment. If I would say this week in reflection, really look at how far you've come, what part of yourself, part of your identity has had to die away for you to be called up as the new version of yourself. What in your life, again, as part of your identity has changed? This can be where maybe you were always identifying as the parent or the mother or the father in a relationship, and now suddenly maybe your children have moved out of the house. And yes, you're still a parent to them, but you're not a parent to them in the house. And so now you are in a new phase in your life. That version of yourself that maybe had to be the stay-at-home parent has passed. And so now you're free to do other things. Maybe now you're free to pursue a hobby or go back to work or whatever that is. And maybe you're sitting there saying, well, no, but what if the kids come home again? Like, what if and it's saying, no, this is a different phase in your life. It's time to embrace that. It's time to start really spreading your wings into this new phase. And with that can come an expanded vision for yourself. When we're thinking about connecting to that future vision, well, you might have had a vision for yourself when you were 15, 20, even 30, or even, going older. It depends on where you are in your life cycle, but it can say that dream or that future vision now can kind of expand again. So let's say you had a dream when you were 30 and now you're 50. Well, now you've experienced so much more. You're at a different place. You now see differently as a different person that you are. So now what is the expanded future vision for yourself? We're kind of like leapfrogging through time. All right, Virgo, let's see what this Ten of Pentacles represents to you. What is this dream, this legacy? What does Virgo need to know about this dream or legacy? Okay, so, interesting. So the Prince of Swords. Now this came up, I think, for Cancer as well, actually. So you might have Cancer placement. You might be dealing with a Cancer in your life. But the Prince of Swords in this deck is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords says it's time to speak your truth. Now, what's interesting is that the Knight of Swords can kind of have a similar energy to the Five of Swords, not so much in that they're trying to win at all costs, but more so that they can kind of be the truth bomber. This can be the person who just kind of comes in quickly with their sword and says, this is my opinion. Everybody listen. And then they're off because it's a knight and the knights are on a horse and they move things forward. But this is coming through more strongly, and it's time to share with others the change in your experience. And it's time to share, perhaps give voice to this new expanded vision for yourself. Now, this doesn't even mean that it has to be sharing it like with other people. It can be you literally writing this down. Any form of communication is what the Knight of Swords speaks to. So if let's say you're an avid journaler, and it could be that, you know what, I'm going to write it down physically and I'm going to just see it for what it is, this new expanded dream for myself. This could be like you become a new parent and you're like, I'm not going to change my ways. I'm going to keep doing all the same things I was doing before, and I'm just going to squeeze in the child on the side. And it's like, well, it doesn't really work that way. I can tell you from personal experience. You kind of have to embrace the new that's come in and embrace, learning how to become the parent versus just squeezing in this extra thing that's happened. It's saying the old version of yourself where you were not responsible for another human life and you are not a parent it's come to an end. So now that you're here, really, how can you start to speak this truth out there to others, and how can you start to speak about maybe now you are starting to realize, I can't work as much as I did before because I have to prioritize another person. Maybe I can't say yes to taking on that extra project at work. I can't say yes to working until 8:00 for 2 weeks in a row. And it's stating it's time then to start to speak as to what this Ten of Pentacles has changed for you? If you want to start prioritizing the family in the home, well, then how can you start to speak that truth in your workplace? How can you start to speak that truth to your significant romantic partner? How can you, now if this isn't, let's say around that, we can use another example here where maybe it's like, okay, this could even be where maybe you've graduated from college and you're entering into the work world, and you're realizing, oh my gosh, I've got to find a job. I have to, I'm no longer just going to class and kind of doing that routine. I now have to get into a routine where I have to learn a whole almost new skill set out there. And this would be like people saying, well, hey, have you thought about doing this? Or have you thought about, maybe applying here? Or have you, and you're like, no. Again, I know what I need to do. It's almost like I get this kind of like Taurian, like feet in the, I'm just going to keep doing it the way that I've always been doing it. And there's something that comes in here that says, deep down what's changed. Something major. Judgment doesn't come up lightly, Virgo. Something major has changed in your experience, and it's time to speak on that. It's time to start sharing from that place as well. There's going to also be where it's time to start sharing from what maybe you do want to come in, or what you have been working towards. This could even be where you have been working towards something and suddenly now it's come in for you, and it's like, I need to start showing that, this is here. I'm going to share that, I have become a new parent, or I did just get married, or I did graduate from college and I am now seeking a career in this area, and I'm going to start to post that on social media. I'm going to start to share that with friends. I'm going to start to share that my 10 of Pentacles is becoming a district judge somewhere down the line, and where can I start that first step? But there is something here around really being able to share with others what the change in your life has been, and sharing now what the expanded vision for yourself has become. All right, I will leave it there, Virgo. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, the full expanded tarot scope for July for each zodiac sign is up on my channel as well, if you'd like to view yours. And if I don't see you there, I look forward to seeing you next week in your next Tarot Bite reading. Bye, Virgo.